Joining us right now is former Arkansas governor, former presidential candidate, Mike Huckabee. Governor, great to see you. Thanks for joining us. What do you make of these charges?
I think it's important that she is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And what Mike Baker just said is so true. This really reveals, though, a crisis of character. When a person takes a job and agrees to do something and then they fail to do it, that's bad. But when what they fail to do is protect U.S. secrets and they fail to do something that really involves national security, that's treason. That's acting against the best interest of your fellow citizens. It's acting against the best interest of your country. But it's also the revelation of a deep character flaw where a person believes that he or she is above the law and that whatever personal passions one has, that's more important than an agreement, than what's right. And that scares the daylights out of me for the future of this country if we continue to see people who think that they don't have to abide by the law because they don't feel like it.
Yeah, Dagan, it's really hard to argue against this. What Governor is saying, she printed this out and she mailed it to Intercept, a news organization.
And I don't believe, as being a member of the media, you know, I'm not going to fault these media organizations, even the New York Times, who printed that information that was leaked to them about the Manchester bombing investigation. However, I will fault the leaker, because again, it's not about doing right by your country and trying to reveal. I don't care what Edward Snowden says. I don't care what this woman might say. It's about seeking fame. It's about looking for the spotlight and wanting attention. And Edward Snowden had a film made about him by Oliver Stone. And people, particularly libertarians, laud what he did. Oh, we wouldn't have known about the NSA metadata collection program. I think a lot more of these politicians need to stand up for the very kind of data collection that was going on that Edward Snowden leaked in terms of, if you really want to fight terror, you need to have big data collection and threat analysis.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Dagan, let me ask you this. Why don't we do a little data collection on the people who are collecting it? I mean, her social media was filled with all kinds of revelations of how unhappy she was about the government, about Trump's election, about the way Bernie was handled. Now, if you and I can know that stuff, how come we can't get that kind of information on the people who are handling these documents?
That's a very good point.
Because if we can spy on the Donald Trump campaign, as the government apparently did, then why can't we do a better job of looking at the people handling these documents, the simple things like their public social media, to find out exactly what's going on with it?
Wasn't she a contractor? What does this tell us about? Are we relying too much, are the intelligence agencies and the military relying too much on outside contractors who aren't tied to this oath that you talk about?
Well, no, they are tied. They're tied. They have the same
sign the document, but they're not kind of imbued with.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying in terms of, you know, maybe they don't feel as if they're invested in the agency that they have to be with to the same degree. But I don't know. Governor, do you think that there's? I don't want to get too theoretical here, but do you sense that this is a uniquely cultural or new development in the sense of the willingness or the lack of concern over obligations and the lack of consequences? I don't know where
they don't want to answer to anybody. They don't want to answer to anybody.
Right.
Well, I mean, look at what we do have. Dagan earlier mentioned the Manning case. You know, you're going to get commuted, and Snowden's become this international hero. So young people looking at this say, you know what, I'm doing this, it's a patriotic duty.
Right.
We fail to teach a real sense of patriotism, and let me use the word that I don't hear enough anymore, integrity. Integrity is that you do the things in private that you would do in public. That your character means that you do the same thing regardless of whether or not you think someone is watching you. I don't know what's happened to that. And I really worry about the future of our country if people only think it's wrong if they get caught, but it isn't wrong if they can get away with it.
Well, they're really drilling
down. The fact that people
really
can feel something different and go ahead and do it, that's frightening for the future of the safety of this nation.